Gangnam in downtown Seoul is a place where new trends, like miniature pet dogs, clash with old trends, like eating dog. It's the end of summer, and for some, it's the best time to eat the traditional dish of the Boknal festival, dog meat soup. In Korea, it's called boljintang.
So what's special about the soup?
다른 고기에 비해서 특별하지 않는데 뭔가 이 게는 특별하게 더 요리를 하시는 것 같아요. 들깨나 들깨잎이나 뭐 이런 향신료를 이용해서 더 그 냄새를 없애려고.
Dog meat is purported to have a variety of health benefits.
한국 남자는 이걸 먹으면 청력이 좋다 해서 먹는다.
뭐 나라마다 어떤 그게 굉장히 특이하다고는 생각 안 하는데.
전 세계에서 한국인을 너무 야만 인으로 보지 마라. 그걸 한번 그렇게 했으면 좋겠네.
어떤 사실 강아지 키워도 키우지만 완전 이거 안 먹으려고 사실 그거 다 보야로 생각하니까요.
These diners are aware of Korea's reputation as a nation of dog eaters. But a growing number of Koreans are finding this notion hard to swallow. These days, 70% of Koreans say they don't eat dog. And growing numbers are engaging in direct battle against the dog meat industry. Like activist Jinoo Chung, who's desperate to save dogs from slaughter. So when he hears about a struggling dog farm, he steps in.
여기 김포 송마리에 있는 개농장인데요. 한 390마리 정도 있는 개농장인데 그 개농장 주인이 자기도 이제 그 개농장을 그만하고 전업을 하고 싶다고 해서 서로 협상을 해서 뭐 구조 방안을 얘기를 하고 그다음에 이제 그 뭐 마리당 금액 있잖아요. 걔 얼마씩 생각을 하는지 그거 지금 일단 협상을 하러 가는 중입니다. 개농장을 가고 있습니다 지금.
At first, the farmer won't let our camera inside.
I've walked in and out a couple of times, and what I can tell you is that there is rancid meat everywhere, flies, and a lot of unhappy dogs.
The farmer finally lets me in once I agree not to identify him. It's easy to see this farmer's business is on the skids. Can you tell me, what is your life like here?
1년 12달 놀질 못하고 쉬는 날이 없고.
This place, like many small farms, can't afford to meet strict government regulations around raising dogs. And these farms are being forced to close.
그러니까는 답답하니까 허다할 때 짬밥이라도 실어다가 먹여야 되는데 기름값이 없어요. 그 누가
So he's feeding the dogs garbage. I'm taken to see their cages.
It's about 60 metres long, and it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's about 10 cages deep.
I see dead dogs in cages with living ones. It's obvious this guy can no longer look after his dogs. But he's not prepared to give them up either.
그래 얼마나 힘들게 살아서 이 재산 좀 해놨다가 이 개 때는 다 망한 사람이야. 진짜로. 급하고 여기서 하게 바로 능력이 안 되잖아 이제. 갖고 있어봐야 다 죽을 거고. 결정이나 빨리 그걸 나 도와주는 거야. 그거야.
Jinoo wants to rescue a few dogs immediately, but the farmer is wary and is holding out for at least some cash before he hands any dogs over. Jinoo is going to have to raise the funds and come back another day.
다만 이제 조그만 강아지들이라도 좀 구조를 해가려고 협상 시도를 했는데 안 될 것 같이 협상이 결렬이 돼가지고 오늘.
While activists like Jinoo and a growing number of Koreans are trying to stamp out the dog meat industry, the president of the Meat Dog Association, Kim Jong-suk, says eating dog meat is a part of their heritage.
구석기 시대부터 먹었다고는 해요.
And for big farms that follow government regulations, he says business is booming.
그리고 종사자가 100만이란 말이에요, 100만. 이거 관련해서 한마디로 이 관련해서 먹고 사는 사람이 100만원이란 말이에요. 그러면은 그 정도 생산을 하려면은 사육 두수는 예를 들어 300마리 정도는 돼야 200만 마리 정도를 생산해서 도축할 수가 있는 그 시스템이 그래요.
President Kim Jong-suk introduces me to farmer Kim Jong-gil, who grants me rare access to his industrial-scale dog farm.
Okay, shall we have a look around?
It's a far cry from the struggling farm I've just seen. I'm told this place complies with government regulations, goes through 2 tons of chicken per week, and has a feces processing plant worth over $500,000. Kim Jong-gil explains that his several thousand meat dogs are tosas, a type of mastiff, and that they're not the same as pets.
우리 식용견은 품종부터 사람이 먹기에 가장 적합하게 개발된 품종이에요. 우리는 그들이 기르는 반려견은 우리들의 그 음식이 될 수가 없다고 봐요. 또 하나, 체구가 너무 작아서 경제성도 없습니다.
As we walk across a wide river of dog poop, I start to get an idea of the scale of this farm.
So this is where all the new cages are going, yeah?
But there's one thing I can't film, and that's the dogs. This is as close as I'm allowed.
These dogs look healthy and nice. Why can't we film them?
이분들은 안 하겠지만은 그걸 보는 저기들은 그 시청자들 저기 그 활용하는 이 동부의 얘네들은 스틸컷으로 해가지고 고기만 해가지고.
This is apparently a showcase farm. But the Korean parliament may soon vote on legislation that would make dog meat farming illegal. So the farmers are understandably a bit touchy about how we'll portray what's going on inside.
Thanks for showing me your farm. Some of it, anyway.
I'm traveling to Gimpo, an area with so many farms it's known as Dog Valley. Anti-dog meat activists who do manage to negotiate the release of dogs from farms bring them to places like this.
Hello, hi. Welcome to our shelter. Would you like to meet our dogs?
I'd love to meet them.
Yeah, Kun, Natalie, Tani, and this is Dog. And then this is Darwin. He's my favorite boy.
That one's got a very waggy tail.
Yes. And
What sort of lives do you think they've had up until now?
they were all supposed to be thrown into boiling pots for this pork now, you know. I personally cannot save all the dogs, but I do as much as I could.
So these guys will probably go to America?
Yes.
Where else do you send your dogs?
Canada and UK. 1,712 dogs in US alone.
1,700?
Yes.
Nami sends dogs overseas because the local population are reluctant to adopt so-called meat dogs.
So who's this?
Oh, this is Mina. Mina is going to Los Angeles.
So she's going to be a LA dog.
Yes.
Mina, how you doing? Might see you on the other side, girl.
Hey. Use farm. Okay, use farm. Okay.
Nami is a former university professor who gave up her day job and dedicated her life to shutting down farms and rescuing dogs.
You see, that's Mina here. She refused to come out. There was a slaughter scene right in front of her. That butcher used to hang the dogs. A dog is a dog. There is no such a thing meat dog and pet dog. I don't want to see that signs of dog meat soup anymore in this country. That's why I am striving for. Hey. You know, dogs, they never let you down. You love them once, they love you back forever.
While Nami fights to save one dog at a time, right now there's legislation before the National Assembly that would declassify dogs as livestock. At the moment, under the law, dogs are treated the same as chickens or pigs. But if the new law is passed, it could ban farms from breeding dogs for human consumption. But this group of activists isn't willing to wait that long. They're taking matters into their own hands by raiding dog slaughterhouses in the dead of night. Activist Jinoo Jung is joining them, and I've been warned things could get violent. This dog slaughterhouse has taken over the corner of a public park. The activists believe it flouts regulations by processing sick dogs in overcrowded, cruel conditions. They're here to document the killing and report it to authorities.
그 왜 고압호스 쏘잖아요. 고압호스 쓰면 컴프레셔 있죠. 컴프레셔가 돌아가야죠. 컴프레셔 돌아가고 고압호스 소리가 나고. 그러니까 그 철문 쪽에 우리 그 애들 그때 우리 개 내린데 그 옆에 있잖아요. 도살장들이. 거기는 지금 작업이 들어가고 뒷문은 지금 아직 꺼져 있어요. 성남 태평동 도살장 저희 3차 급속 또 왔습니다.
이렇게 먹거리가 돼 있다는 건 누군가가 길렀던 개인 거예요. 개농장에서 먹거리를 할 이유가 없어요. 저쪽에도 죽어있고 다 죽어있어. 다 전염병이야 이거. 이런 걸 사람들이 먹는 거예요. 내가 그것이 이렇게 생명을 이렇게 죽이는데 이거 가지라고 이야기를 해요? 손대지 마! 손대지 말라고요!
There's a dog that just got strangled and he still has the noose around his neck. It's over here. His eyes are not even closed yet. And he's still really warm.
Next door, tension rises as the activists discover an incredibly gruesome sight. This is where the recently killed dogs are being torched of their fur and butchered.
니네 하는 짓들 봐봐 지금! 야 이 짱끼 새끼들 니네 불법 체류 다 신고할 줄 알아, 알았어? 이 새끼들아!
카메라 앞에 찍으세요, 카메라.
The slaughterhouse manager is so enraged, she comes out to attack one of the activists. Even for an experienced activist like Jinoo, tonight's scene was horrific.
일단 저도 이것저것 여러 군데 이제 많이 다녀봤는데 이제 저도 솔직히 그렇게 다녔어도 제가 여기 왔다가 집에 돌아가면 잠을 못 자요. 그 좀 속상하고 처참하고 잠을 못 자요. 후유증이라 그러죠. 후유증 때문에 잠을 못 자요.
This kind of activism has been bad for business here at Moran Market, which was once the bustling hub of the dog meat industry. I'm here to try and talk to the last remaining dog butcher at the market, but he's not too pleased to see me.
여기 촬영은 금지입니다. 촬영은.
Eventually, Shunbong Cho agrees to talk, but again, I can't film his dogs.
신발 벗고 들어가.
He even covers up the CCTV monitor of their cages, before telling me that further legislation against the dog meat industry will ruin his life, and that the million people who work in it don't deserve to be singled out.
아이 농가분들은요 정말 순수해요.
그분들은 자기 그 목숨과 바꿀 수밖에 없는 상황이에요. 그 자기 그 개를 키우지 못하게 한다 그러면.
Mr. Shin and his family have done well from the dog meat industry. It's put his kids through uni and helped his family to live comfortably.
If the ban does go through, what will that mean for people that work in the industry?
말 그대로 생업을 포기하는 상황이 되잖아요. 그래서 그 과연 그 양반들이 부양하는 가족이 있는데 쉽게 생업을 포기하지 않을 것으로 예상되고.
I asked Mr. Shin what he would do if the legislation passed. Couldn't he just find a different job?
아니요. 됐어요. 나 이럴 줄 알았다. 내가 30년 동안 이 직업을 했던 것을 그것을 뭐 다른 직업을 전환할 의사가 없는데 그 물어본 그 의도가 뭐예요? 저는 가시라고요. 저는 가시라고.
In Korea, everyone involved in this billion-dollar industry is under pressure. And a couple of hours out of Seoul, one farmer has succumbed, willingly handing over his dogs to the Humane Society International. Whilst government regulation is making business tough for small-scale farmers, it's also the change in eating habits that have helped send him broke.
So what's the reason for the downturn in the dog farming industry?
예, 그러니까 단속도 정부 단속도 심하고 또 사람들이 옛날같이 그렇지 않아서 하도 이러다 보니까 개구리들 선호를 안 하니까 안 먹다 보니까.
The farmer is now trying to survive by growing chilies and herbs, but his financial burden has been eased by the Humane Society.
Oh, do you want to hand me that one? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah.
Today, his dogs are being vaccinated and prepared for adoption overseas.
How many farms have you done so far?
This is number 13. So, yeah, 13th farm and many, many more visited. So it's a long process, but obviously worth it.
Not all Koreans are happy about foreigners interfering in their dog meat debate, but the farmer is happy to have the help.
참 우리나라에서는 이걸 참 이상하게 생각을 하는데 참 외국 분들 와서 이렇게 해준 건 진짜 고마운 일이지.
Back in Seoul, the end of the Boknal Dog Eating Festival is being marked by a candlelight vigil.
52, 몇 분이어야 돼?
Concerned citizens have gathered to demand an end to the dog meat industry. The politician pushing the bill to outlaw dog farming is here, Lee Sandong. He tells the crowd that modern Korea should move on from its dog-eating days.
이 사대원에 사는 서울 사람들은 개 안 먹었어요. 그래도 이 사대원에 갔던 사람들은 다 교육을 받았고 좀 이런 그리고 우리나라 사람들 교육이 높아졌죠. 경제력이 높아지고 그러니까 과거의 어둠의 세력이 없는 것이고 그리고 이게 잠깐 보세요. 그 단백질 부족했던 그 파푸아 뉴기니 같은 데는 사람 먹지 않았습니까? 그 지금도 그 사람들이 이 습관이라고 말할 수 있겠어요? 이게 아니잖아요. 어처구니 없는 얘기 하는 겁니다.
Also here are members of the Meat Dog Association. They've turned up to keep an eye on proceedings.
그 집회, 개고기 먹는 걸 반대하는 어떤 그런 집회를 하고 있는 현장이고요. 저희가 거기에 맞서서 우리 입장을 어필하기 위해서 이제 오늘 이렇게 저희들 이렇게 모인 그런 자리입니다. 서로 밀고 당기고 하는. 경찰이 이제 그 접근을 제지하니까 저희가 이제 뭐 밀고 뭐 그러는 그 실내가 좀 있었습니다.
It's an emotional issue, and as the anti-dog farming legislation moves through Parliament, it looks like half the population will be devastated if it fails, and the industry will be decimated if it's passed. Back at Nami Kim's shelter, Mina is getting ready for her new life in Los Angeles.
I think I'm gonna cry when I have to say goodbye to her. I really like you to understand that it's quite natural for them to have the trauma.
I miss Korea. Mina, see her face is shining.
She does look happy.
It's taken a month of vaccinations, rehabilitation, and planning to get Mina ready for America.
This is the air ticket for them.
Air ticket for the dogs?
Yes. So these dogs are so lucky. I would say 1 out of 100,000. They really get spoiled. After all, you know, they need to make up for the lost years.
So Mina waits for her plane and her ticket to freedom. Three weeks later, in Los Angeles, Mina has been brought to an adoption event. This is a bit like speed dating for dogs and potential owners, and the competition is tough. Mina's getting lots of pats, but no potential matches. Until Melanie and Scott arrive.
I would love to foster her. We just have to be in agreement.
Let's take her for a walk first.
Yeah, let's take her
they
for a
do.
walk.
Yeah. Oh, really? Just does all the tricks.
Their dog Harley is a US rescue, and they seem to be getting along, so they agree to take it to the next stage.
We're gonna take her for a walk.
A neighborhood walk.
So what did you think when you first saw Mina?
Well,
Just love at first
maybe
sight.
she'll end up at your place for a bit, huh?
Maybe.
It all looks good for Mina. Fingers crossed, she's found her forever home.